So good morning students, how are you? I hope you all are very fine. Okay, so today I will discuss about gravitation. Okay, in the previous class I have already discussed about gravitation. Okay, today I will just say something, just recap. So gravitation, there is a law of gravitation given by Newton's, that is called Newton's law of gravitation. According to Newton's law of gravitation, force of attraction, suppose this is object A, this is object B, this is mass m1, mass of m2, and distance between them, so force directly proportional to m1 m2 and inversely proportional to 1 upon r square. R is the distance between them. Okay, r is the distance between them, that is, and if we combine this, then we can write A proportional to m1 m2 upon r square. Okay, and this is the law of gravitation which was given by Sir Isaac Newton. Okay, so if we want to omit this sign, proportionality sign, then we have to take a constant, and which is G, and that is called universal gravitational constant. Universal gravitational constant. Okay, and this formula is very important. Okay, we have to do sum from this formula. Okay, so from here we can write G is equals to F into R square upon M1 M2. Okay, so from here we can calculate the unit of G. So what is the unit of G? F means Newton, R means distance, unit of distance meter, so R square means meter square, upon M means mass, so M1 M2 two masses, so mass kg into kg, that means kg square. So that is the SI unit of capital G, universal gravitational constant. Why is it called universal? Because this law valid for why this law is called universal law of gravitation? Because this law valid for any object of any size and shape, first, at any time, second, and third is at any distance. Okay, that means not only in the earth surface or above on the earth, this law is valid for infinite distance or infinite object also. Okay, so that's why it is called universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation. Okay, so what is the value of capital G? 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11. So you have to remember this also. So value of G 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square upon kg square, SI. Okay, SI unit and SI value. Okay. Okay, so next I will discuss about some importance of, so marker change. Importance of universal law of gravitation. Universal law of gravitation. Importance of universal law of gravitation. Importance. So what are the importance? Acha, first point I will just discuss it with very fast. So just tell me if you have any problem, then inbox me. Okay, so first is when any planet, or any planet revolve around the sun. We know every planets revolve around the sun. Okay, suppose if this is sun, so every planet move like this in this elliptical orbit. Suppose this is one. So in this way, every planet. Okay. So every planet or Earth revolves around the sun due to force of gravitation. Okay. How? We know when any object or any planet revolves around the sun, then it needs a force. It needs a force that is called centripetal force. Okay, along the sun. It has a direction along the sun. Okay, and this gravitational force gives the centripetal force. Okay, that's why, and with the help of this force, any planet revolves around the sun. Okay, second point. First point is revolving of any planet around the sun. First point. Second point is tide. Tide occur due to the gravitational force between moon and the water of ocean water, or water of the ocean. Okay, this is moon. Tide occurs due to the force of gravitation between moon and ocean water. How? Suppose this is earth, okay, and moon revolves in this way. This is moon here. So say when moon come to this position, this distance is smaller than this distance from the moon. So this is moon, and this is earth. Okay, so when moon come to this position, then this position is closer to the moon with respect to than this position. So water of this position attracted. Okay, water of this position attracted due to the force of gravitation of moon. Okay, and the water of this position try to expand and tides occur. Okay, clear, and tides occur. So due to the water of that position attracted by the gravitational force of attraction of moon, and this water try to expand and tides occur. Okay. So second position. So first position, revolution of any planet around the sun due to the force of gravitation. Second position, tides occur due to gravitational force between moon and water, not between the earth. Okay. Third point, every planet has the force of gravitation. Every planet has the force of gravitation. Okay, so this force of gravitation of the planets decide the planet has any satellite or not. Okay, this force of gravitation of that planets decide whether the planet has a satellite or not. That means if any planet has force of gravitation, greater force of gravitation, then it must as a satellite, or okay, it must as a satellite. Okay, but if force of gravitation of any planet is very low or very small, then it has no satellite. Okay, that's why that means satellite. Satellite. Any planet has satellite due to the force of attraction. Okay, force of gravitation of the planet. Okay, so for that reason we know force of gravitation of Mercury and Venus. Force of gravitation of Mercury and Venus is very small. So that's why Mercury and Venus have no satellite. Okay. Fourth is artificial satellite. if any planet has large force of gravitation, then we can place artificial satellite around that planet. Okay, we know Earth also has many artificial satellite. Earth also has a satellite. Earth also has a satellite. What is that? Moon. Moon. An artificial satellite, you know, there are many artificial satellites. Okay, because Earth has a force of gravitation, but Mercury and Venus, for Mercury and Venus, gravitational force is very low. That's why they have no satellite. They have no satellite like Moon. Okay. Next, fourth is artificial satellite. Okay, clear. Fifth is atmosphere. Atmosphere. We know Earth has an atmosphere. Earth has an atmosphere due to force of gravitation. Because if there is no force of gravitation, then molecules of the atmosphere start to move in the universe. Suppose this is Earth. So Earth is revolving. Okay, and we know gas molecules move. Okay. That means the force of attraction between the molecules is very low. That's why they start to move anywhere. They start to move, or they move from one point to another point. Okay. So as there is a force of gravitation, so molecules feel a force of attraction or force of gravitation of the Earth. That's why the atmosphere stays around the sun. Around the Earth. Okay. So the atmosphere exists due to the force of gravitation. Okay. Sixth point, we stay on the Earth due to atmosphere. We get force of gravitation. We stay on the Earth due to force of gravitation, because suppose Earth is revolving and someone is placed here, someone is standing here. Okay, we know what is the directional velocity along the tangent. So as the Earth is revolving, so the man can move. Okay, but due to force of gravitation, the man we can stay on the Earth, or any man can stay on the Earth surface. Okay. 7th point, rainfall occur due to force of gravitation. Rainfall occur. This is rain, suppose in the downward direction or towards the center of the Earth due to the force of attraction. Okay. And that means force of attraction means gravitational force. Okay, because we know gravitational force is always attractive force. Okay, clear? So all these points are clear? Okay. Apple. Okay. So next is free fall. Okay. Suppose this is a feather and this is a stone. Okay. So now tell me, if you drop this feather and stone from a height or from a tower, on the top of the tower, then what object will touch the ground first? Tell me. What object touch the ground first? Feather and stone. Obviously you say this stone, suppose this is the ground. This stone touch the ground first. That means time taken by the stone to reach from the tower to the ground is less. So if this is T1, this is T2. So T1 less than T2. That means the time taken by the feather to reach the ground is higher than the time taken by the stone to reach the ground. Okay. But scientist Galileo has done an experiment in Pisa. Okay, and there is a tower, and he showed that actually he has taken three balls. He has taken three metal balls of different masses: M1, M2, M3. M1, M2, M3. Okay, and M1 not equals to M2, not equals to M3. That means the masses are different. The masses are different. He has taken three different masses objects, okay, or balls, okay, and on the top of the tower he dropped the balls, okay, and he has seen that the time taken to reach by all the balls or all the metal balls, this is T1, this is T2, T3, all are equal. So see, so actually the masses are different, but time taken by the metal balls to reach the ground is same. Why? What is the cause of that? But here feather is a lighter particle than the stone, so here feather reach the ground, or feather time taken by the feather is greater than the time taken to reach by the stone. So what is the cause of that? So Galileo conclude that due to the air friction. So you have already read about air friction. Due to air friction, this feather takes long time to reach the ground than the stone, okay, because area of the feather is greater than the stone. So that's why for feather air friction is greater, and time taken by the feather to reach the ground is greater than the time taken by the stone. Clear? But for that case, I mean for three balls of different masses, we neglect the air friction because these are very heavy, and obviously masses are different. And and he neglected the air friction. That means he conclude, if we neglect the air friction, if we neglect the air friction, then time taken by all objects of different masses to reach the ground from any height is same. So what was the conclusion? Time taken by all bodies of different masses from a height to reach the ground are same. And if air friction is neglected, then time taken by all bodies of having different masses are same. Time taken to reach the ground of all bodies of different masses are same if air friction is neglected, okay, and that is called actually free fall. Okay, that is called free fall. Okay, clear what is free fall? So free fall means, that means for that case we have to neglect the air friction. Okay, so air friction neglect, then time taken to reach all bodies to the ground are same. Okay, so that is called free fall. Okay, and what happened for free fall? Suppose this is a ball. When a ball is moving, or when a ball drops from the height, so this is the height, this is the tower. So drop from a height or from the top of the tower. Okay, then there is no friction, there is no air friction. So what is the only force on that ball? Only force that is acting, force of gravitation. That is force of gravitation. Clear? Air friction is neglected. So what is the force on that ball? That is only force of gravitation, or gravitational force. Okay, force of gravitation or gravitational force. Okay, and it is a constant force because mass constant. Okay, and we have from Newton's second law we have got F is equals to, force is equals to mass into acceleration. Force is equals to mass into acceleration. Force is equals to mass into acceleration. So see, when there is a force, there must have an acceleration. When there is a force, there must have acceleration. Okay, and the acceleration due to the gravitation called gravitational acceleration. Gravitational acceleration or acceleration due to gravity. Okay, that means when there is no air friction, so what is the force acting on the body? That is force of gravitation. And according to Newton's second law, if there is a force, then obviously there is a acceleration. Okay, and this is the gravitational force is constant here. So obviously here the acceleration is constant. So when a body or when an object drops from a height, then it acquires an acceleration due to gravitation, that is called gravitational acceleration or acceleration due to gravity, and that is constant. That is constant for all objects. That is constant. Clear? And that is called gravitational acceleration or acceleration due to gravity. Clear? What is acceleration due to gravity? And this is denoted by small g. Gravitational acceleration is denoted by small g. Okay? Clear? Okay. So understand free fall. Free fall means when an object falls from a height and there is no air friction. Acha, Galileo have said that. What did Galileo say? Galileo has said that so all the objects having different masses, if time taken by all the objects having different masses take equal time to reach the ground from a height. Okay, and after that scientist Robert Boyle invented a jar we invented vacuum jar. He invented a container or a jar from which all air can be extracted, and that means he extracted all the air. That means he has invented a vacuum jar. Okay, and after that he has Robert Boyle taken one bullet and one feather. Okay, one bullet and one feather. This is feather and this is bullet. He has taken one bullet and one feather, and there is nothing. When vacuum is inside it, nothing. Vacuum is nothing. So there is no air. As there is no air, there is no air friction. There is no air friction. So here then he has seen that two objects, time taken to reach by two objects at the ground is same. Here time taken T1, here time taken T2. So T1 is equals to T2. That was said by Galileo. Right? And Robert Boyle has proved that. So that means for free fall, every object of different masses, okay, take same time or equal time to reach the ground from a height. Okay. And Robert Boyle has proved that, and he has proved in a vacuum chamber or vacuum jar. Vacuum jar means there is no air. No air means no air friction. So Galileo said that if air friction is neglected, then all time taken by all the objects of different masses to reach the ground from a height are same. Okay, so that was proved by Robert Boyle. Okay, and free fall means if any object is falling from a height and there is no air friction, that is called the free fall. Okay, free fall means freely falling. Okay, next is next is expression for the acceleration due to gravity. Expression for acceleration due to gravity. That means G, expression for G. How can you calculate the expression for G? See, Acha, suppose this is earth of mass capital M. This is earth, and there is an object of mass small m. Okay. Okay. So what is the according to law of gravitation, force on the mass due to the gravitation is G capital M small m upon r square, where r is the radius of the earth or r is the distance between them. Okay. Okay. And listen, with respect to r, this distance very small. That's why I have taken it as r. Okay. R is equals to 6400 km, and suppose I have taken an object at 1 km above. So one is very less than 6400. So that's why this distance almost nearly equal to r. So that's why I have taken the distance r. Okay, understand why I have taken this distance r? R is the actual radius of the earth, but we know radius of the earth is very high, very large value. That's why this distance plus this distance nearly equal to the, if this is d, so r plus d nearly equal to r, because 6400 km radius of the earth and 1 km 1 km above I have taken a mass of m. So 6400 plus 1, that means 6401. So 6401 nearly equal to 6400, nearly equal to. That's why I have taken the distance as r. So what is the gravitational force? Gmm upon r square. Clear? Clear? Now tell me, the when the mass is moving, it must have acceleration, that is gravitational acceleration. I have said for freely falling object, there is an acceleration which is called gravitational acceleration or acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. So from what is the force acting on the object then? From Newton's second law, F is equals to m into g, mass into acceleration, mass into acceleration, mass into acceleration. Clear? And why we have used gravitational acceleration g? Because for freely falling object, the acceleration acquired by any object is gravitational acceleration. Clear? So both the forces are equal. Both the forces are equal. Okay, that is the force acting in this direction, and this is the force in this direction. So both are equal and same. Okay, so that means G mg is equals to G m upon r square. Okay, small m cut. Then G is equals to capital G capital M upon r square. That is the expression for small g. That is the expression for small g. Okay, here you see in this expression, it is consist of capital G. That means acceleration due to gravity. M, mass of the earth. R, radius of the earth. Okay, it does not depend on the mass of the object. It does not depend on the mass of the object, capital M. So that's why every object of different masses, take equal time to reach the ground from a height, because this acceleration does not depend on the mass of the object. So as acceleration does not depend on the mass of the object, so every object having different mass take equal time. Clear? Why I have why that is Galileo's conclusion is right. Galileo's conclusion is right. So clear? Okay, so this is the expression, and how can you calculate this? Clear? Okay, student. And we know what is the value of G, we know what is the value of M. Value of M nearly equal to 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg, and R 400 km. If we put these values, then we will get capital G is equals to 9.8. And what is the unit of acceleration? Meter per second square. So this is the value of small g, 9.8 in SI, 9.8 meter per second square, but in CGS 980 centimeter per second square. Clear? Okay. And so in the moon, if you have seen, put the value of masses of the moon, gravitational acceleration, you know, gravitational acceleration of moon, I mean gm, okay, g of m, that means gravitational acceleration of moon is equals to 1/6 of the gravitational acceleration of earth. This is the gravitational acceleration of earth, g, and gravitational acceleration of moon is 1/6 of the gravitational acceleration of earth. And if you put the value of mass of the moon, and g is constant, 6.67 into 10 to the power 10 to the minus 11 Newton meter square upon kg to the power kg square. And radius of the earth, if you put then we will get put the value of mass of the m, value of g, and value of r, then you will get gm is equals to 1 upon g. That means I have already said it, but we can prove it by putting the value of mass of the moon, gravitational constant, and value of the r. Here r is the radius of moon, mass is the radius mass of the moon. If you put the values, then you will get gm. That means gravitational acceleration of moon equals to 1/6 of the gravitational acceleration of earth. That means gravitational acceleration in the moon is less than the earth, gm less than g. So that's why when we jump on the moon, then what happened? We can float on the moon in the atmosphere of the moon for a very long time. But for earth, if we jump, suddenly we come back at the ground. But for the moon, when we jump, we can float on the atmosphere, in the atmosphere of the moon for a long time, because gravitational acceleration of the moon, or force of gravitation of the moon, is less than the gravitational acceleration of the earth. Clear? Okay. Okay, student. So, and one thing, another I will discuss. After that, I will finish the class. Or is the duster? Okay. Okay. That is, we know what is the shape of the earth. Shape, value of g. Value of g is equals to gm. G is equals to gm upon r square. R is the radius of the earth. But you know, shape of the earth is not circular shape, spherical shape. It oval shape. It has like this kind of shape. This is oval shape. That means this is the equator. This is the equator plane. There is a pole. This is pole, and this is equator. This is equator. And okay, and this is the pole. So this is r for rp, radius of the earth for polar distance, or radius of the earth for re means r capital, yeah, for equatorial radius. And you know, re greater than rp. Re greater than rp. That means equatorial radius of the earth greater than the polar radius of the earth. That's why if you put this value here, then you will get gp less than ge. Ge less than gp, because g inversely proportional to r. So re greater means ge less. Re greater means ge less than gp. Gp means gravitational acceleration at the pole, and g means gravitational acceleration at the equator. So gravitational acceleration at the equator is less than the gravitational acceleration at the pole. For that reason, the weight or force on any object by the earth in polar region is greater than the force of gravitation or weight of any object at equator. Clear? This is the cause. This is the cause. Here r is not constant. For earth is not oval round shape or spherical shape. Earth has a shape like elliptical shape or oval shape. That's why polar radius is less than the equatorial radius. So that's why ge, that means gravitational acceleration at equator, is less than the gravitational acceleration in the pole. So if you calculate with m, we will get mg. Mg means what? Mg means force due to gravity. So force due to gravity, that is called weight actually. That is called weight. So weight of any object in the pole is greater than the weight of the object in the equator. So that's why if you take a object and if you measure the weight of that object in polar region and in the equator, okay, so you will get more weight, not mass, more weight in the polar region than equatorial region. Clear? Cause why? Mass is same for every place, everywhere mass is same, but weight is different because weight is also force of attraction or for gravitational force or force due to gravity. I will discuss in the last class what is mass and what is weight and some numericals and also some questions also. Okay, so I hope you have understand this lecture. Okay students, so thank you, have a nice day.